agents try to help these people resettle in other countries because this is not a common land. Hello. Hello.
Halo,
네.
우리가 어디 봐?
Where are they?
탈락해. 탈락해.
Oh jualan, jualan. Enak. Ini dijual.
Oh no.
탈락해.
Yeah, everyone except you.
Can I sit? Can I sit somewhere here?
Yeah, you got
How about you?
And then
Hey, this is Luke, and I wanted to share a quick testimony about my missions trip in Thailand this past November. But more specifically, I wanted to talk about my time that I spent at the Quran refugee camp. So I was in Bangkok with my missions team, and we actually went to the city. We took a charter bus to where the refugee camp was located in. We went there. We left Bangkok around 9 or 8 p.m. or so, and I think if I remember correctly, we arrived to the city around 7 or 8 a.m. So during that time, my team and I decided to sleep on the bus ride since it was such a long trip and it was at night, and all of us had arrived to Thailand around the night before, so we were all still a little jet lagged. And at the time, I was wearing basketball shorts on the bus ride, so I had my wallet in my pocket. And when I woke up, I grabbed my backpack because that's where all my luggage and everything was, like my medications, my clothes, everything that I needed. And I sat it next to my team at the bus stop, and then I went to the restroom. And as soon as I came out the restroom, I realized that my wallet was missing from my pocket. And luckily, the bus wasn't too far away from where we were, but unfortunately, my wallet was missing, and so I wasn't able to find my wallet. And I was actually going to Korea after my mission trip to visit my family for the first time. I never left the U.S., so that was very exciting for me. But I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't lose a lot of money, but at the same time, it wasn't very little either. And all that money, all the cash, most of the cash that I had in there, I was gonna use at my trip in Korea, since I was vacationing there. So at that moment, I was very, very angry. I didn't want to show it because I am on a missions trip, but like I was texting my mom through like Kakao Talk, it's like free texting, and I was just texting my family, and I'm saying like, Mom, why did you send me to this trip? I didn't even want to go do this, really. I was just very angry, I just wanted to blame anyone else but myself. I remember my mission team was trying to support me the whole time, and I was just mad, and I didn't want to hear it either. You know, I just met them maybe the day before, so I wasn't very close to them, and so what they said to me didn't really matter at the time. And my brother actually texted me because I actually was talking to my mom on the family chat, and he texted me privately saying, you know what, like, hey, like, you're lucky that mom even sent you. Like, don't be so ungrateful, don't stop being a brat. And that really helped me realize how bratty and ungrateful and selfish I was being. And I texted my mom saying I'm sorry, you know, but then at that moment I was still very angry, you know, I was still stubborn about my own mistake. And but going to the so on the way to the refugee camp, I was very angry about my lost wallet because I had all my I had my ID, my driver's license, my credit card, my debit card, and a lot of cash in there. And then so I just remember like going to the refugee camp. I just didn't know that it was a live refugee camp at the moment. I just thought maybe it was like an exhibit, you know, like it was a refugee camp, and this was gonna show us how people used to live there. But as we got closer to the area, I remember there was National Guards, and it still didn't click to me for some reason. And then as soon as we got to the gate of the village, or we're getting closer, like they were asking us to stop filming on like the area, and like they said we can film as soon as you pass the gate. But it still didn't hit me for some reason. I think it was because I was still preoccupied about like me recording everything, wanting to record everything, because it was my first time leaving the country, and I wanted to make a video to, you know, to share my memory and my trip with everyone back at home. So as soon as we reached the gate to the village, I realized that there were people there. There were actually people that were living there, and that's when it hit me. Oh, it's a real, actual refugee camp. I was like, how could I have not known? And as soon as I got there, you know, I was saying like, oh, I can record. So I started recording everything. And as you see in the video before, like, it wasn't supposed to be like a testimony video. It was like, it was more of a look at what I did while I was in Asia video. But spending more time with the villagers and talking to them and the refugees, like, it really hit me, like how much God is doing in their lives and did in my life. Like, they had basically nothing in the world that we live today. You know, very few have cell phones, and very few like have laptops, and it's because they have families that left the camp and start making money and send it to them. But other than that, they don't even have toilets that flush. They don't have toilet paper, you know. Like, I didn't get it on film, but I just remember seeing a little girl around the age of 4 or 5, just carrying like big buckets of water from the well back to her home. And, you know, just talking to each of the leaders and the people of the village, they were so grateful of everything that they had, that God had provided, and they were so blessed. Was just in our eyes, very little, you know. And I don't come from a very rich family either. I'm not very poor, but I'm like about mid to low middle class, you know. And people that live in America would know that it's not much. But seeing that, how truly what third world countries really mean, like, I realized how much I truly do have. And God really showed me through me losing my wallet, like, even though it's something that important, that they have so little and they're able to praise the Lord's name. But I just lost maybe almost several $100, and I was tripping out. I was flipping, and you know, and it really humbled me. It really showed me like how selfish I really was. It showed me where my heart was. And I saw like the people, and then as I was going through the place, I realized that in that missions trip, like, talking to other leaders, I realized that I was the only one that on my team that really didn't. I felt very unqualified to be in that position because everyone there had at least like a PhD or some kind of degree, you know, like, and I was the only one that's like still like, I'm a college dropout, you know. I decided to go on my career path rather than school, but you know, I'm still going back to school eventually, but you know, like, I'm not proud of like dropping out of college to make money, but at the same time it's not something like I'm ashamed of as well. But at that moment I felt very ashamed. I felt like, you know, like, even though this was the way that God led me, like, I felt like I was very lacking in that area. But it really helped me realize, because I work in a restaurant, I work as a chef, but there was just, everyone around me was so blessed by by me being a chef, you know. They wanted me to come back and just help them cook and stuff, and I really helped me realize that God can use you in so many different ways that you don't even expect. Yeah, like, there's different skills that people have that you can just use to share God's love. And that's when it really hit me. I realized that at that refugee camp that people don't have much, they don't have access to a lot of things. They don't have access to music teachers or a hospital, more importantly, or, you know, they don't know what's like, they only know cooking beyond, or like, they only know cooking of what they were taught at home. They don't get to experience the different kind of foods that most of us do. You know, living so close to Los Angeles, I get to try different cuisines, but they can only try what they know. You know, they don't have access to the internet and things like that. They don't know how to build houses like the way we do. You know, everything there is very temporary, because living in a refugee camp, everything is supposed to be temporary. But like, it really blessed me to build a team of people with just different skills and just able to love, like, and most importantly, people need to love. But it really helped me want to get doctors and musicians and just all these type of people to come together in God's name to help the people of the Quran, you know, get what they need so they can worship God in a deeper level. And that can only happen through the love of Christ. And through that trip alone, even though it was for one day, speaking to each villager and speaking to each of the leaders really showed me how to love God by loving people in a deeper meaning. What I really came to realize at that trip, it was, you know, people living in America, they're so comfortable and they know how other people in other countries live. But there's a true difference of knowing how they live, and truly, like, knowing about how they live and knowing how they really live. And once I experienced how they lived, it really showed me that there's more things for us to do in the world. That God God really needs us to reach His people beyond our imagination. That was my testimony. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.